Hey guys, it's me again. This is part 3 of my Between Us series, mainly focused on OsaSuna. Though I already know I'm going to make it a series to make all the couples mentioned in the previous videos to get together. I know this video is longer than usual and it doesn't exactly continues the story to the party already, but I liked doing this so much, hope you like it too. And warning, this video contains curse words and sexual content implied. Enjoy. Toru clapped his hands together like he'd just solved world hunger. Alright, then it's settled. We throw the party this weekend, Saturday night, no excuses. He was grinning from ear to ear, already pacing the living room of his house as if he could see the whole event happening before it even existed. Osamu leaned back on the couch, arms crossed. A party at Toru's place. This was either going to be a nightmare or, well, probably still a nightmare, but one that he couldn't wiggle his way out of. Friday, you guys come here to help me set up. Toru continued, pointing around like a commoner. Drinks, decorations, music. We will make it look good. And Saturday? Boom. The best damn party this city has seen. Who the hell is even coming? Osamu muttered, though it came out louder than he intended. That was all it took. Suddenly, everyone was throwing out names at once. Daichi and Sugar, obviously, Kyoru said, his tone casual but his grin sharp. Bakuto too. Akashi, you will drag him here, right? Like that's even necessary. He wouldn't come here even if he wasn't invited. Akashi replied smoothly, though a small smile tugged at his mouth. Atsumu perked up beside Osamu, already too excited. We gotta invite Sakusa. He won't come if I ask to last minute, so I will text him right now. Kenma's-in. Kyoru added quickly, his eyes flickering to Osamu as if daring him to challenge it. I'll make sure he doesn't flake. I was coming too, I already told him. Oikawa cut in, pulling out his phone like he had a master list of pawns. This is gonna be huge. Osamu didn't say a word, he kept his eyes fixed on the pattern of Oikawa's carpet, but his stomach twisted at the thought he didn't want to voice. Because if everyone was coming, then it was only a matter of time before someone said his name. And of course, someone did. What about Suna? His chest tightened. Atsumu didn't miss a best, either. Oh, he is coming, don't worry about that, it's not like he has something better to do anyway. Osamu nearly kicked him under the table, but Atsumu was too quick, grinning like a little shit. The living room was buzzing with voices, everyone was trying to talk louder than the other. Oikawa scribbled names onto his notepad like an obsessive wedding planner, his knees, voice sly. We should get Lev and Yaku too, it will be fun and maybe. He smirked, glancing at Akashi. Good for them to spend some time together. Good for you to watch and meddle, you mean? Akashi replied dryly, but no one missed the spark of amusement in his tone. And I might invite Konoha too, he is the one helping me with Bakuto most of the time anyway. Oikawa waved his pen like a conductor's baton. Maki and Matsun, obviously there must no way I'm throwing a party without my people. From the corner of the couch, Sugar raised his hand with a soft smile. Then I will call Asahi and Nishinoya too. He's not missing this. What about Tsuki and Yamaguchi? Kyoru suggested, his grin widening. I am pretty sure he likes the shy pinch server and Yans. Well, he'll drag Tsuki if needed. Sounds like a nightmare. Osamu muttered under his breath, though he wasn't sure if he meant for himself or for Tsuki. Count me in for a Shijima. Tendao sang, stretching his arms overhead like this was already done deal. And maybe Semi and Shirabu too, I'll take care of it. The list grew longer by the second, Oikawa's notebook filling fast. Everyone was so busy mapping out their little web of connections, making sure their people would be there, that no one seemed to notice the quiet tightening in Osamu's chest. No one except Atsumu. His twin bumped his shoulder against his, smug grin plastered across his face. You hear that, Samu? It's gonna be huge, everyone's coming. Gonna be real interesting, huh? Osamu didn't look at him, he just nodded, pretending to focus on Oikawa arguing with Kyoru about playlists, while one name kept burning holes in the back of his mind. Suna. The longer the list grew, the harder it was to ignore. The notebook was almost full, lines of names scrawled across the page like Oikawa was planning some grand operation instead of just a party. Everyone seemed satisfied, voices overlapping as they debated snacks, playlists, and whether or not a theme was necessary. For a second it almost felt too easy. Osamu leaned back into the couch, letting the noise wash over him. The list was long, the energy high, but a thought crawled in anyway, doubt creeping through the cracks. "Do you guys really think this is gonna work out?" he asked, the words slipping out before he stopped himself. His tone was flat, but it cut through the chatter just enough to make a few heads turn. To get everyone together like this, all these different teams, different personalities. He shrugged, eyes fixed on the ceiling. Feels like a lot could go wrong. There was a beat of silence, broken almost instantly by Oikawa's confident laugh. "Please, if anyone can pull these off, it's me. I thrive in chaos." "You're chaos," Akashi deadpanned, earning a chorus of chuckles. "Come on Samu," Kyoru added, grinning like a cat who'd already seen the ending of the story. "What's the worst that could happen?" Osamu didn't answer. He just pressed his lips together, the question still heavy in his chest. Because for him, the worst that could happen wasn't a fight breaking out or the party falling flat. It was Suna walking in, looking right through him like he always did. Friday came quicker than Osamu expected. By late afternoon, the house was already alive with noise. Oikawa's living room had been cleared out, boxes of snacks stacked on the table, and bags of decorations spilling across the floor. Music was blasting even though they hadn't agreed on a playlist yet. The air smelled like chips, soda, and the faint lemon cleaner Oikawa had insisted on using for aesthetic. Osamu stood near the kitchen counter, sleeves rolled up, bag of cups in one hand, watching the chaos unfold. "Careful with that." Oikawa's voice rang out like a general barking orders. "The streamers go above the windows, not on the TV, Atsumu." His twin just laughed, tape stuck to his wrist. "It looks fine, relax. Nobody's gonna care when they're drunk." Kyoru was already halfway up a chair, trying to hang across the ceiling while Akashi steadied him with a look of long-suffering patience. Tenda was sprawled on the couch like he owned the place, scrolling through his phone. "I told Ashijima, Semi and Shirabu. They're all in, you're welcome. Lev says he's coming too." Kyoru called down, smirking. "Which means Yaku's coming too, even if he complains the whole time." Oikawa clapped his hands like that was the best news he's ever heard. "Perfect, this party is already legendary and it hasn't ever started." Sugar appeared from the kitchen, carrying 2 grocery bags filled with snacks and bottles. Asahi and Noya confirmed, they'll be here early to help tomorrow. "Good," Oikawa said, scribbling another note. "Now we just need." Osamu turned them out, focusing instead on the pile of plastic cups he was supposed to be organizing. The room buzzed around him, laughter, planning, teasing. Yet underneath it all, he felt that same weight pressing down. "Sooner, tomorrow." He shook the thought and busied himself with the cups, but Atsumu slid up beside him anyway, grinning like the devil. "Don't look so tense, Samu. It's just a party." Osamu shot him a look. "Yeah, right. With half the volleyball world shoved into one living room." Atsumu bumped his shoulder against his exactly perfect chance for you to finally do something instead of sulking. Osamu rolled his eyes, muttering something under his breath, but his chest tightened all the same. He hated how easy Atsumu could read him. And even worse, how right he might be. The house looked less like a party and more like a construction site. Rolls of tape, bags of chips, hell-inflated balloons, and a suspicious amount of tangled string lights covered every surface. Kyoru nearly fell off the chair he was standing on when Akashi let go for half a second. "Oi, keep your balance," Akashi said, deadpan, though his hand shot back up to steady him immediately. "I was testing you," Kyoru said, smirking down at him. "You passed, Belly. Shut up and hang the lights." On the couch, Tendao snickered. If Kyoru dies before tomorrow, this whole party is cursed. Oikawa ignored them, too busy arranging a stack of vinyl records by color instead of genre. "I'm telling you, vibes matter. People don't just come for the drinks. They come for the ambience. They come for free food." Sugar corrected with a smile, tossing a bag of chips onto the table. "Speaking of," Asahi said he'd bring something homemade. "And Noya, well, he'll probably just bring chaos." Everyone laughed, but Osamu caught the way Suga's eyes softened at the mention of Asahi. "Lev's already blowing up my phone," Kyoru cut in, climbing down from the chair. He wants to know if there's enough space for dancing. Which means Yaku, probably yelling at him in the background right now. God bless Yaku for putting up with that. Then Atsumu's voice cut through Terum, annoyingly smug. Oh, by the way, Sakusa agreed to come. Osamu's grip on the stack of cups faltered for half a second. He didn't look up, but Atsumu was definitely watching for a reaction. On one condition though. Atsumu continued, enjoying the spotlight. He's only coming if Komori tags along, and if everything is sanitized. Sugar whimpered. That's two conditions though. Sanitized? Tendao barked out a laugh. What's he expecting? A hospital ward, basically. Atsumu shrugged. But hey, that means he's coming. You're welcome. Komori is fun. Oikawa chimed in. That's actually a win. Yeah, it actually may be a way to Konoha agreeing to come to him and Komori are friends. The Grao buzzed again, names bouncing around, plans stacking up. Semi-Sand Shirabu, Daichi and Asahi, Bakuto glued to Akashi the second he walked in. One by one, the image of tomorrow's party got louder, fuller, more complicated. And through it all, Osamu kept himself busy with useless tasks. Straightening chip bags, refolding napkins, avoiding Atsumu's knowing eyes. Tomorrow, Suna would walk through that door. And Osamu had no idea what the hell he was supposed to do about it. Dart, it hit him like a brick to the face. In all the noise, the names, the arguing about playlists and food and who was bringing what, Osamu realized he hadn't actually done the one thing he'd be dreading since Oikawa first suggested this whole idea. He never invited Suna. The thought dropped heavy into his stomach, making his hands still mid-motion as stacked cups. Everyone else had been so quick to claim their people. Kyoru with Kenma, Lev Adyaku Oikawa with Iwa, Maki and Matsun Sugar with Daichi, Asahi and Noya Tendao with his whole Shiratorizawa squad, and Atsumu had taken Sakusa and Komori for himself, naturally. But no one said they'd handle Suna, and Osamu sure as hell hadn't. He swallowed hard, the sound of lort and banter around him suddenly muffled. His twin was across the room, taping more lights to the wall with a grin that screamed he hadn't forgotten a thing Atsumu never forgot. Which meant, shit. Osamu set the cups down a little too forcefully, drawing a glance from Sugar. You alright? Yeah, Osamu muttered quickly, shoving his hands into his pockets. His brain was spiraling. If he asked now, it'd be obvious. If he texted Suna last minute, it'd look desperate. And if Suna didn't show, he didn't let himself finish that thought. Instead, he forced himself to grab another bag of chips, ripping it open like that had been his plan all along. His pulse, though, wouldn't calm down. The party wasn't even here yet, and already it was a mess. Atsumu noticed, of course he did. Across the room, his twin paused mid-laugh with Kyoru, eyes flickering to Osamu's face. Just a second of narrowed eyes, a tilt of his head, then Atsumu's grin widened like he'd just been handed the juiciest secret. Osamu felt the buzz in his pocket before he even saw it coming. He slid his phone out under the table, screen lighting up with a new message. Atsumu and Osamu's private messages. You forgot to invite him, didn't ya? Osamu's stomach sank. He didn't, he answer couldn't. His fingers hovered, but the words wouldn't come. Another buzz. Don't worry, I already did. The room was still full of chatter. Oikawa yelling about centerpiece placement, Tendao cackling at something on his phone, Sugar calmly sorting snacks. But all Osamu could see was that one message. His heart jumped and twisted all at once. So relax, Samu, he is coming. Osamu locked his phone fast, shoving it back into his pocket as heat crawled up his neck. He didn't dare to look up. He didn't want to see the smug expression he knew was waiting for him across the room. But Atsumu's laugh rang a little too loud, a little too knowing, and Osamu's stomach sank further. Tomorrow, Suna would be here, and this time, there was no escape. By the time the sun dipped low and Toru finally declared the house party ready enough, everyone was tired and half covered in tape or glitter. Bags of trash lined the hallway, the fridge was stuffed, and the living room looked like a magazine spread designed by lunatics. Tomorrow, Toru said, standing in the middle of it all with his hands on his hips. This place will be glorious. Or trashed. Kyoru muttered, stretching his arms over his head. Same difference. Tendao chimed. The group slipped soon after, some heading home, some still arguing over who was in charge of the music. Osamu followed Atsumu out the door, plastic bag of leftovers swinging at his side. The night air was cooler, quieter. He finally let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. But his peace didn't last long. Yeah, welcome by the way. Atsumu said casually, shoving his hands in his hoodie pocket as they walked. Osamu's jaw tightened. For what? For inviting Suna for ya. Atsumu's grin was audible in his voice. Don't gotta thank me, I know y'ad have chickened out. Osamu stopped walking for half a second, glaring at his twin. I didn't. Yeah you did. Atsumu cut him off, turning with that infuriating smirk. I saw your face back there like you'd swallowed a rock. Heat burned up Osamu's neck. You didn't have to. Of course I did. Atsumu said simply. Yeah hopeless. They stood in the glow of a street lamp, the bag in Osamu's hand crinkling as his fist tightened around it. Hopeless. The worst part was, Atsumu was not wrong. Relax, Samu. Atsumu added, softer this time. It's just a party, who knows? Maybe something good will actually come out of it. Osamu didn't answer, he just started walking again, staring at the pavement. The weight in his chest hadn't eased, but now, tangled with the dread, there was something else gnawing at him. Hope, and that scared him even more. Osamu was warm. Not the kind of heat that made him restless, but a slow, comfortable burn that spread through his chest. Suna was right there beside him, stretched lazily on the grass of some half-remembered field. The sky was tinted gold, the air heavy with summer. Suna's voice was low, almost a hum. You're staring again. Osamu snorted, rolling onto his side. TCH. As if you don't like it. Suna didn't move, just smirked the way he always did. Quiet, infuriating, magnetic. His hand brushed Osamu's, casual at first, then lingering. Osamu's throat tightened, but he didn't pull away. Instead, he laced their fingers together, the ease of it terrifying in how natural it felt. Dumbus, Suna muttered, but he leaned closer, his hair falling into his face. Osamu caught himself wanting to tuck it behind his ear, wanting to close that last inch of space. Samu. Oh, Samu. What's that? Atsumu. Samu wake up. The dream fractured. Osamu blinked into dim light, groggy and irritated, heart still pounding like he'd run sprints. His brother's voice cut sharper this time. Osamu. Atsumu's hand shoved at his shoulder. Wake the hell up already. Osamu groaned and threw an arm over his eyes. But the dream clung stubbornly to him, warm and aching in a way that made his chest feel tight. And then the guilt of last night, the party, the forgotten invitation, hit him like a hangover, sharper than Atsumu's whining. A moral hangover. He rolled onto his side, reaching for his phone on the nightstand between their beds. The screen lit up, and his eyes narrowed against the brightness. Notifications, sure, but one name at the top nearly made his heart stop. Suna. He unlocked it fast, pulse kicking up. Heard about the party. You and Atsumu are going together? Figured I could head over to yours first. We can all go together. Osamu froze. The phone felt heavier in his hand. Suna wanted to come here, to his house, to him. He was still staring at the screen when the sound of bedsheets rustling broke the silence. Atsumu propped himself on an elbow with the fakest casual look in the world. What's got you staring at your phone like it's the end of the world? Osamu jerked slightly, angling the screen away. Nothing. But Atsumu was faster. He flopped across the gap between their beds, practically draping himself over Osamu just to peek. His grin exploded the moment he caught the name on the chat. Well. Atsumu's voice was a sing-song taunt. Rinse sliding into your messages. Shut your trap. Osamu shoved him back, but his twin was laughing too hard to care. What did he say? Wait. Atsumu sat up, eyes widening as he replayed the words he saw. He's coming here, before the party. Osamu groaned, dragging a hand over his face. Just forget it. No way. Atsumu was already on his feet, pacing with glee. Do you even realize what this means? He chose you, Samu. Out of everyone, he wants to come here, to go with us. You mean with you? Osamu muttered, throat dry. Atsumu snorted. Nah, trust me, he wouldn't bother if it was just me. He leaned closer, smirk sharp. Face it, Samu. Rin actually wants to spend time with ya. Don't screw it up. Osamu sank back into his pillow, staring at the ceiling. The phone buzzed again in his hand, another message from Suna lighting up the screen. So, short, direct. Exactly the kind of message that made Osamu's palms sweat. He sat up, elbows on his knees, staring at the keyboard like it was an exam he hadn't studied for. What the hell am I supposed to say? He muttered under his breath. You say yes, Dumbus, Atsumu answered instantly from his bed, grinning wide. What else? Osamu glared at him. If I say yes too quick, I'll look desperate. Atsumu rolled his eyes so hard it was a miracle they didn't get stuck. Yeah, already desperate. Might as well commit. Osamu typed yeah, sure and immediately deleted it. Then he typed yeah, come over and deleted that too. He tried me and Atsumu are leaving around 6, but it sounded too stiff, too planned. Delete. Yeah, taking longer to text back than he takes to line up a serve, Atsumu groaned, grabbing his own pillow and chucking it at Osamu's back. Just send something. Osamu ignored him, thumb hovering. His pulse thumped loud in his ears. Finally, he typed, yeah, that's fine. Come by around 6. He hit send before he could talk himself out of it. The message delivered, and he stared at it like it might self-destruct. A second later, the typing bubble appeared. Cool, see you then. Simple, effortless. Like it wasn't a big deal at all. Meanwhile, Osamu was sitting on his bed, gripping his phone so hard his knuckles whitened. Across the room, Atsumu smirked. Yeah, acting like he just proposed. Shut up. But even as he tossed Atsumu's pillow back at his face, Osamu couldn't stop the tiny, dangerous thought creeping in at the edges of his panic. Maybe this won't be a disaster after all. Steam fogged the mirror, heat clinging to Osamu's skin as he braced a hand against the tiled wall. He let the water beat down on the back of his neck, trying to wash off the heaviness of the night before. Both the moral hangover of nearly forgetting to invite Suna, and the remnants of that stupid dream. He shouldn't still feel it. The phantom warmth of Suna's shoulder brushing his, the way their fingers had laced together in sleep, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Lovebirds. What kind of idiot dreamed up something like that? Osamu dragged his wet hair back, jaw clenched. Pathetic. That's what it was. Pathetic to want it so bad he was seeing it even in his sleep. But the water was hot, his muscles loose, and his head wouldn't shut up. Every time he tried to think of something else, anything else, Suna's face slipped in. That slow, lazy smile. Half-lidded eyes, staring straight at him like he already knew every secret Osamu kept locked behind his ribs. Shit, Osamu muttered, low and rough. His hand slid lower anyway. Might as well. He wasn't gonna have anything real before this, if he ever did at all. The rhythm started fast, almost angry, as if he could shake the images loose. But it didn't matter how hard he tried to think of nothing. Suna was there, leaning against a doorway, laughing at one of his dumb jokes, eyes narrowing in quiet amusement. Then closer, close enough Osamu could imagine the brush of breath against his ear, the weight of his hand on his arm. His stomach tightened. A curse slipped through gritted teeth, swallowed by the hiss of the shower. The thought of anyone, especially Atsumu, ever finding out made his chest burn with shame, but that didn't stop the way his body jerked when release finally hit, sharpened and satisfying all at once. Osamu leaned his forehead against the wall, panting, the spray pelting his shoulders. It didn't help. If anything, it made the knot in his chest worse. Great, brilliant. Start the day by jerking off to your best friend like a desperate teenager. Really got your shit together, Mia. He scrubbed himself down quick after that, as if he could wash the guilt off with the soap. By the time he shut the water off and grabbed a towel, his face was set back into its usual scowl, but he felt raw under the skin. And, of course, Atsumu would notice the second he stepped into the kitchen. Osamu had barely gotten halfway through his bowl of rice when Atsumu leaned back in his chair, squinting at him with that smug grin that made Osamu want to throw something. Yeah, looking suspicious. Atsumu said, stirring his miso lazily. Liquor, you just committed a crime. Osamu scowled, focusing hard on his chopsticks. Shut your trap. I literally just showered. Exactly. Atsumu's grin widened, sharp and knowing. At least you're not doing it in the bed, weirdo. We share a room, that's disgusting. The rice nearly went down the wrong pipe. Osamu coughed hard, smacking his chest. The hell's wrong with ya? Saying shit like that in the morning? Atsumu shrugged, taking a loud slurp of soup. What? Not judging. Shower's the right place for that kinda thing. Just saying, don't be gross. Osamu's ears burned so hot he thought they might fry off his head. Yeah, unbelievable. How do you even know? He cut himself short, horrified that he was about to admit anything. But Atsumu only leaned forward, propping his chin in his hand like a cat who had cornered a mouse. "'Cause yeah my twin, Dumbus. I can read that face better than you can. You walk out of the bathroom all pink-eyed and wound tight like you ran a marathon. Ain't rocket science." Osamu stabbed his chopsticks into the rice like it had personally offended him. "Yeah, creepy, you know that? Creepy, no. Observant, yes." Atsumu smirked. "You think I don't know when you're thinking about Suna, too? Your eyes go all weird. Like you saw a commercial for fried chicken, but you can't eat it." Osamu groaned into his hands. "Why do you always gotta know what's going on in my head? Can't I have one private thought?" "Nope." Atsumu grinned, way too pleased with himself. "Twin tax. I get full access. Deal with it." Osamu peeked at him between his fingers, muttering, "You're insufferable. Love you too, Samu." Atsumu tapped his bowl with the chopsticks, smug as ever. "Now finish eating. Suna's gonna be here soon, and you look like you're about 2 seconds from combusting."